Yeah, yeah. What's going on, good people? Welcome to the Boom Bap Chat number 100 and something. I am MC Till, and we're going to have a good conversation tonight. If you're watching the live feed, you know why we're going to have a good conversation. And we're going to get into that in just a minute. But as I said, I'm MC Till, and I'm representing everybody's hip hop label and everybody's records. There's a record store here in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's a really dope record store. If you've never been, please come visit us here in Cincinnati. And if you can't, you can always go online, everybody'srecords.com, and check them out there. I also am representing Pro. I'm representing this guy right here. Look at that. Kid Abstract. He drops this album tomorrow. Kid Abstract and Leo Lopez. It's a really dope album, so encourage y'all to go get it. So that's what I'm representing tonight. Pro, who you representing tonight, man?
Man, you know what? I'm representing Mama Pro tonight, man. Her birthday today. So I'm gonna give mom some. I'm giving mom some love today, man. So
Right
May the
on,
4th
man.
be with her today, man.
There you go. There you go,
You know?
man. Well, happy birthday, Mama Pro. That's wonderful.
Happy
And that's
birthday.
That was who was on your intro, right? On your last album?
Yeah,
I thought so. Okay.
Mom's is the chief assistant and head of security. Like, mama don't be playing. So.
Nice.
That's dope. That's dope.
Straight
All right,
up.
well, let's jump into this show tonight, and let me introduce these wonderful guests. The other guys are a production duo coming out of the DMV area. They have worked with some of my favorite MCs. I know some of your favorite MCs too, Pro, including Homeboy Sandman, Skyzoo, Substantial, Tanya Morgan, Sadat X, YU's dope, y'all, and many more. Their sound is soulful, it's boom bap, it's engaging, it tells stories without words. Hands down, some of the best production around right now. And so we're excited to have them on tonight. Let's give them a nice boom bap welcome to the other guys. Woo!
Amazing intro. That's an amazing name.
I mean, he started
Look,
saying
hold
names.
up.
I'm like, I haven't even thought about those names.
Yeah.
And look, the hip hop thing about it is I failed because I knew he was gonna do that, and I didn't have the applause ready, and I'm in here digging on my desktop trying to find it. See, man, Till, we gotta hire somebody to be the button pusher, man.
Yeah, they're right. Yeah, we need a button pusher. Hey,
Yeah.
speaking of button pusher, our co-host iomos Marad might jump in here in a moment
Yes,
too.
sir.
So
Cool.
he has some stuff going on. But fellas, yeah, thank you for being on tonight. Welcome to the show. As I said in the intro, just want to reiterate and give you flowers, man. I really appreciate the fact that a lot of producers, they chasing sounds, they're trying to be this, they're trying to be that, and I just feel like you guys have been just rock solid, dope for so many years, and have a sound. I think y'all have a sound and have perfected that sound. It just gets better and better and better. And
Wow.
so I just appreciate y'all dedication to the craft. So thank you for being here, and thank you for that, man.
Appreciate you having us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. So I wanted to start off tonight just asking you that about like a signature sound. Do you feel like y'all have a signature sound?
I'll let you answer.
Okay, here's what I'll say to that. I think Joe will overall concur. I think there's a signature sound per project. So it's like if you pick up two projects and look at them, two different projects that have nothing to do with each other, they're different. And I think that's kind of what the idea is. Like if it's like stuff that we're rapping vocals on and it's just us, sonically is going to be different. And I know Joe and I talk about that a lot, about, okay, this would sound good for this. Just like how, working with different artists, somebody's going to sound good on something that's boom bap that sounds like it's straight out the 90s. But everybody's not going to sound good on that. That same rapper might not sound good on something that's probably more soul focused or jazz focused.
Yeah.
So I think, so that's what I would say. Or at least I hope it's like that.
Yeah. Anything you'd add, Joe?
I would like to think we have a signature sound somewhat. It's a lot of elements that we put into a lot of different productions, we put some of the same elements. Like I'm big into like voices and like harmonies, and I like to always say we like to mix the pretty with like hard, and that's kind of like what I like to do. You know what I mean? Hard drums, pretty melodies. People said that, so I kind of think that's kind of our sound. A lot of production, in my opinion, is all based on drums. I think I just heard somebody speak about it. Drums basically determine the genre, whether it's going to be like boom bap. We've also kind of course we're known mainly for boom bap production, but we've also kind of gotten to the I don't know, that kind of that Larry June Currency swag deal as well. And so with that, we still use a lot of the same elements, but it's a slower BPM, but still pretty samples, pretty nice melodies and hard drums. So
yeah. I love that. I think you said hard drums, pretty melodies. Was that the line? Yeah, it's a great way to sum it up, man. That's dope, and I feel that like when I think about your music, like that's what it sounds like. So how long have y'all been working together as like a production duo?
Yeesh.
06, 07.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Wow. 06, 07.
And did y'all know each other before that?
That's my cousin.
Yeah.
Oh, word. Okay.
Yeah. Oh. But the thing about it, he's my older cousin. It's about 6-7 years between us. And easily. And also was kind of a distant cousin that I knew that did music. So the story is I wanted to get into like music. You know, I was young. I was like probably like 18, 19. I wanted to, and I always knew I had a cousin who lived in New York and was like, quote unquote, doing it in the underground scene. He was in a crew with Substantial at the time. And we were able to reconnect and get up. And he actually basically coached me. Like I didn't even know how to use a computer before we connected.
Yeah, it's so funny. He's probably picked up everything as fast as anyone I've ever seen pick up stuff. You know what I mean? But that was funny. I think a lot of times that was back when we were sending CDs through the mail.
I didn't even know. Yeah, that's how like computer illiterate I was. I didn't know you could send. This was when I seen you my first stuff, like maybe 05, 06. I was just starting to make beats, and I would send him beat tapes through the mail, and he was like, "Yo, you could like send this through the email," right?
Yeah, but it was so funny because back then it wasn't even a big thing. It wasn't as commonplace as it is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like Chat GT. You know what I mean? Like like people like you had to be kind of like slightly nerdy to know that at the time. Yeah. So
all right. Go ahead. We can say something, Isaiah.
Yeah. No. That was pretty much what happened, and the rest is history, as I say. I think.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad it happened, man. How, like, when y'all are making music, I would love to know how it happens. Like, it's one person like come with the drums. Someone finds like a sample or a riff or whatever. Are you working in the same room at the same same beat, same time?
Okay, I would say everything. There's no one thing. I mean, I remember there was a time. I remember once. I had I think it was an iPod with just tons of samples on it.
Oh yeah.
And I just left it over Joe's crib. It's just like he just combed through all these samples that I was like, yeah, but I didn't even leave it for that. And that's just kind of how that kind of stuff happens. You know what I mean? Sometimes maybe I'll send a bunch of breaks, literally. And Joe will comb through those, whatever, and stuff like that. We'll figure out what works and stuff,
Our process has kind of evolved through the years different. Like it was an era where I've always had, like, one thing I've always had was a pretty decent ear for melody and like sample picking. But one thing I had trouble with early on, probably maybe if you ask me, probably like the first 5 years, was drums. He programmed drums very well. So he would program at one point he would just program drums for me and send that to me, and then I would like chalk samples over the drums or play melodies over the drums. You know what I mean? And so it built up. And so now I'm pretty decent with the drums. And now he sends me melodies or samples or puts me on. He's definitely our tech guy. We pride ourselves on like embracing technology.
Yeah, and learning what's new.
Yeah, we definitely have a quote unquote, old school 90s boom bap sound, like people want to say, but we incorporate a lot of technology into what we do. We kind of like, we keep the old motto of, hard drums, chopping breaks and stuff like that, but we add pieces to what we're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely has that essence, throwback essence, but it definitely feels like I hear some beats that I'm like, man, that sounds like it's straight from the 90s. Like it was, There's a freshness to it,
Yeah, and that's what we try to do. We try to like add. We don't take away parts. We try to add on to
that's
what it is.
That's so dope. Yeah. Speaking of add on, we're adding on right now. I want to introduce you guys to another co-host that we often have on the Boom Bap Chat. We have a man, iomos Marad, down here. What's up, iomos?
Yo, peace, brothers. What's good?
Peace, bro.
Good to have you, man.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Yeah. You too.
Yeah,
you from Chicago? I see the hat.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, sir.
That's my brother.
The whole Midwest. Awesome. The whole Midwest. Okay.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Till, can we for the people, we do the podcast, so we like on the air, but for the people that are not looking at us, I gotta give a shout to Isaiah in the gym shirt though. Like, yeah, I'm on it. Yeah, I give you props on it. I'm looking like, oh, for real? No, he didn't. And look. See, no, he didn't. He ain't going there.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
But yeah, the gym. He's rocking the gym. Y'all don't know nothing about that. These young kids don't know, man.
Yo, I got a hologram shirt too. I almost put that on, but I was like, we're on the gym
man.
Yes. I got I got a thing for like fake bands from like movies and TV shows and cartoons. So I got stuff, and I just rock it. Like if a band popped up in a movie or something, I'll try to get something and whatever, rock it. I like stuff like that.
That's what's up.
That's super dope. Super dope. So there's a record label, Hypnot. And correct me if I'm wrong, y'all run Hypnot Records?
Yeah, currently.
Yeah,
we didn't found it, but now
right.
I run the label. It was founded by Kevin Nottingham.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I remember some stuff went down.
So we took over in 2018.
2018. Okay, what's it been like running a label?
Man, funny enough, Kevin, like you said, it's a lot went down with that, but he pretty much taught us the game. We signed with him in 2014. Didn't know too much. And like everything we had released prior to that was like free, and he was like our introduction into retail. And so right around maybe 2017, we did a project with Von P from Tanya Morgan called The Fiasco. And I had pretty much executive produced the whole project, and I put it out through Hypnot. And I felt like, man, I basically did everything. And so around this time, Kevin was making he kind of had a lifestyle change, and he was making his exodus from hip hop, and left and was leaving the label. He was actually going to cut the label off, and he asked, he sent an email and was
we all got
interested. At the time, I wasn't interested because we were going to start our own label. ourselves.
Yeah, like
we were already thinking about like leaving it and starting our own label. And funny enough, we had watched the movie called The Founder, about McDonald's and Ray Kroc, about like it's something in the name. And because Hypnot was already somewhat established, we were like, let's just keep this going. It was everything is. We already got a name. It's already branded. We already got YouTube and IGs with, you know what I mean, subscribers and everything. So we went ahead and purchased Hypnot from Kevin Nottingham. Running an independent label was very expensive, so we had to cut a little bit of cut some fat as far as artists, and so we kind of stuck with the legendary members because we had. Honestly, because we already had a relationship with Tanya Morgan and Vaughn. Like Vaughn honestly gave us our first like shot. Our first real shot. 100%. So we kept them and we rolled with them probably the first 2 years. Now we're slowly adding people on. And like this last Skyzoo project is probably the biggest project that's come out. We're real proud of that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna. Oh, go ahead. Were you gonna say something, Isaiah?
I was gonna say, I mean, and the thing about it was, at the time, it wasn't even so much our we didn't appreciate the other artists or their work. It was just very much like it was a lot of people, and we can't do everything. Right. You know what I mean? It's just too crazy. I think Joe and I talked about one of the things that you notice with a lot of indie labels end up faltering because they have too many artists to work with and too many things to do. And so the idea was, if this was going to work, to start small and expand.
And we know how it feels to, like, when you kind of feel like your project didn't get the attention that it deserved. And so that's another side of it that we didn't want to do. Like, I don't want to have 20 artists and I can't focus on it. I just put out, you done spent 7-8 months working on this project, and I just put it out like anything. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't feel right doing that either. So like if I can't help, even now, like when we have artists like submit demos and things like that, it's just like the first thing I ask them is like, what do you need? Because if I can't help you, I don't want to just take part ownership of anything if I'm not doing anything for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of logos out here and nothing is happening. You know what I mean? No one's investing in like, it's more to a label than just, a logo. So
right. Yeah. Well, I'm glad y'all kept it going, man. I think Hypnot has, he currently has some great artists, on the roster. Tanya Morgan, I just feel like they're, super dope. So I'm glad you are kept it going,
bro.
Yeah, they're great. And
we kept sorry to cut you off. Honestly, no, like they were the motivating factor. It was just like, yo, I gotta keep them going. Not that they needed any type of motivation, but just like, yo, I gotta keep a home for those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the time we can do it. But go ahead.
Yeah. For sure. Now, a lot of the album covers that I've seen from Hypnot, they remind me of like older jazz covers. And I'm curious to know if I'm reading too much into that, or is there kind of a jazz?
No, you're right. And that the first one started probably with Substantial actually did this cover. I think the first time we did it was Von P's To You. We wanted to kind of look like a Blue Note jazz.
Right.
And so that was the inspiration on that. And we work a lot with what is his name? I can't think of it. But he does a lot of the Jet Life album covers. So all of the Life and Analogs and the Season of Analogs, like the Spring and Analogs, all our instrumentals are done by him. And it's 40 FPS. So yeah, he does a lot of work for Jet Life. And one thing I like about him is he has this like retro aesthetic that he kind of sticks with.
Yeah.
And I think the covers, the idea is to have the cover stick with you. And that's the thing. Like, you see a cover and it's one of those things. It's like back in the day, those like, oh, I gotta cop this just for the way it looks.
Yeah.
And I hope all the covers still do that. And I think that's what we aim for.
When we do a cover, I'm always thinking vinyl. Like even if it don't come out on vinyl, I'm always thinking vinyl, like on the wall vinyl. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love the jazz inspired covers. I also know that it seems like every time Von P puts out an album, there's a Jeep in it. Can you break down the reason behind the Jeep?
The Jeep. It's no real reason. So I when we started working in 2014, I had bought a Jeep Wrangler, and we picked them up in the Jeep, and we were working on a video, and he did not want to be on no album cover whatsoever. He didn't want his face on the album cover, and I felt so proud that I was able to convince him. I was like, yo, they need to see your face, because he had done P's Gotta Have It. He wasn't on the cover. Duly Noted, which I love, he wasn't on the cover. And so we convinced him to get on it. And I was like, yo, if they see your face, man, they need to see your face.
That's the idea. Yeah.
And so we just kept it going. That's technically that's my Jeep he's on. And with the Fiasco, the second album, we were doing something a little different from the first album, and so the Jeep is on fire. So that's basically him like saying that, yo, this is going to be different than to you. So
right.
And after a while, it just became a branding thing.
It's one of those things.
To the point where I think you posted not too long ago about maybe the Jeep is coming back or something.
I said, me and Vaughn are thinking about bringing the Jeep back out. So
yeah. So if that means another album's coming, that's great, man. That's good news.
And crazy enough, the Jeep is actually in the garage. So it was funny. Getting worked on.
I mean, the Jeep's been through a lot. Music,
the same Jeep, literally the first album.
That's dope. Before we jump into this new album that you produced for Skyzoo, I wanted to pause. Profound and Iomos. Is there anything you wanted to ask or follow up on up to this point?
I'm just giving props on Car Jam because I'm jamming to it in my ear right now, and the sample's crazy, B.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I hear what you're saying and the melodies and all of that. Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that's how we get down. Facebook need to let us be great so we can start playing music, man.
Yeah. The reason why I called that, I was watching New Jersey Drive when we were on that beat. Yeah, so that's why that's called.
Oh, it sound like that too.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
No.
That's dope. Cool. Well, let's jump in. If you're just tuning in, we are with the other guys, incredible production duo, and they produced this entire album right here. This is Mind of a Saint by Skyzoo. If you've not heard this album, it's the concept. There's a really dope show on FX called Snowfall, and the main character, Franklin Saint. Man, what a character he is, man. That's we could do 1,000 podcasts just breaking down that character. But anyway, Skyzoo is rapping the entire album as Franklin Saint. So really dope concept. But want to talk about the music tonight. How I know that I saw somewhere that you were trying to do a project with Skyzoo. I think you said since 2016. So it'd been a minute. How did it come together for this particular album?
I actually wasn't telling the truth when I said 2016. Honestly, it was probably about 2007. To be honest. It's right when 2016 is when we felt like it may be able to happen.
Yeah.
It's been a long journey.
But we featured him on our album Life and Analog in 2016. And we were able to kind of start our formal relationship with him around 2016. Okay. We both actually met him in 2007. He was actually pushing his project with Ninth Wonder.
3 Day High.
That's how long, wow. This has been in the making. I gave him our first beat tape. Actually, I don't even know if we were a duo then. This was around the time Isaiah was taking me under his wing and taking me to beat battles and stuff like that.
I think we were in Jersey, right? This was in Jersey.
We was in New Jersey, and I gave him a beat tape then. Horrible, but yeah. Horrible beat tape, but yeah. Man, him and Torre, funny enough. Tor was good.
Oh, word.
So, yeah.
Word. Okay, so now we're, present day. How did it come back together for, this new album?
Man, honestly, like patience. So around 2000 and maybe 2021. 2020, 2021, I was like, yo, like we had released a single with him and Von P feature, and I was like, yo, we got some chemistry, like let's make this happen. And he was like, yo, he was interested, and I didn't hear much back. Right. And so like I had actually forgot about it, and he called one day and was like, yo, I got an idea. It's gonna sound crazy. And then he broke down the Snowfall idea. And like honestly, I was expecting like a regular, when I had explained that we wanted to do an album with him, I was expecting like a regular Skyzoo project. Yeah. But I mean, hey man, it's like Skyzoo. Like, what am I gonna say? No, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. So initially, I'm not gonna lie, I had some reservations like in my mind, and then I thought about it. I'm like, man, this is ingenious. Like, and who else?
I think the second you got off the phone with him, you called me and broke it down, and I was like, "Yeah, that's gonna be crazy." Yeah, because we're both big fans of the show Snowfall, and I know as a writer, Skyzoo can paint really vivid imagery. So I was like, it'll totally work. But
Isaiah was a humongous Sky fan. I am a Skyzoo fan. Isaiah is a humongous. He was a humongous Skyzoo fan.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's interesting in that way because I love concept albums. I do, and he exceeded any expectation with this project that I could have had. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah. It was the show itself. I have like a love-hate relationship with the show because it's so good. It's such a good show. But then it's like, oh man, all the stuff that goes down and all the bad decisions and like just all the terrible stuff that happens. It's just like, and nothing like made me feel that feeling than the song Bodies. And that might be my favorite beat on the album. I don't know. There's 10 joints on here. I think there's like 9 that are my favorite beats. Like I love all the beats on here. Like they're so good. But Bodies, man, I listen to that song. It's so well put together. The beat's so dope. The way he's running through, all the people. And so it's beautiful in that sense. It's well put together. But then it's like, man, to think about what he's talking about and to think about like, I know it's just a show, but it's a real show. Like it takes you into that world. And it's like, real. I feel for people. Like, I know that really happens and people really do get murdered and there's real life consequences to that. And so I'm thinking about that. So it's like, I love this new album. I also just hate so much about the realities.
I get it.
Yeah.
And he captured it perfectly, man. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And he, I don't know if this was like a question you're going to ask. What's crazy about the album is he did everything in order. Like each beat with like it was certain beats. I'd be like, yo, did you record this yet? And he's like, nah, because it's not time, because it's not in order. Like he already like once he picked the beats and we made the beats and he recorded everything. The way you hear the album is literally the way he recorded it.
Oh,
like no cap. Incredible. Yeah,
interesting. So he waited until he got all 10.
Yeah.
And got him in the right order.
He knew which, like once he had the beat, he knew which beat was for which songs. Like he already had the song title. Like he was like, oh, that's Bodies right there. I'm like, what? Yeah. He's like, that's gonna be Bodies right there. Yeah, he did it.
I remember
that's Apologies in Order. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember hearing Bodies because I wasn't caught up on the whole show yet when I heard the album. And so I remember hearing Bodies and I heard that sample. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see what context this excerpt is in, because it's such a tense scene. So is there a song on the album that you gravitate towards, either the way that Skyzoo, blended with the beat, or just the fact that he picked that beat and that was a beat you really wanted him to pick? Is there just one song that like really jumps out to either
of you? Brick by Brick, I really wanted him to use that beat. I didn't think he was going to use. I like begged him. Well, I mean, he didn't. It wasn't that he wasn't going to use it, but he likes, and he told me he likes fast BPM beats. And Brick by Brick, it's like, a slower what's happening now in the underground industry beat. But as far as like songs, I was just like blown away by it. Was like Panthers and Powder, the way he did that. I love that. And of course, everybody loves Apologies in Order.
And Views from the Valley.
Yeah.
That one, it almost like, I've only been to LA a couple times, but it really feels like if I'm in LA, I gotta listen to the song. And, just
they love it. They love that song, and they love that song in LA because it got that that old soulful, low rider vibe to it, 45 sound to it. I was actually happy that he picked that because funny enough, that's one of the few. The majority of the album was made to order for the project, but that's one of the few beats that we had for a minute. Like I originally had gave that to Von P, but it really wasn't like his flow. Yeah. So I was ecstatic that Views from the Valley. I was ecstatic that he used that.
Yeah. That's interesting because that beat to me is the one beat. The drums sound a little different on that beat, at least to my ears, than the drums on the rest of the album. So that's interesting.
It's dirtier, right?
It has a muddier.
So we made that on an ASR.
Okay. Yeah.
The ASR 10, the old keyboard sampler. So that is like that's straight up like 92. So
yeah.
Literally.
Oh, I have so many more questions about this album, but Pro and iomos, I don't want to leave y'all out. Anything you want to follow up on before?
Man, I'm soaking it all up, man. Let's keep rolling.
So, iomos, how about you? You just enjoying the combo?
Yeah, I'm just a fly on the wall, bro.
Right.
But it's nice that you're not studying tonight. iomos is hitting the books hard in his studies program, man. So awesome. Glad you're here, man. So many questions about this. So is there I thought I heard Skyzoo, I think it was Skyzoo, post that there was going to be maybe not another album, but more songs, because he had recorded this album before the final season or two. I'm not sure exactly how many seasons.
Sky's coming. He's gonna be here in my studio and at the other guy's studio at the end of the month. Working on that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the plan is we're doing 4 or 5 more tracks.
Okay,
and
great.
So the album's gonna have a deluxe, and he moves fast, so I can expect that probably late summer, probably July.
Okay. Right. Oh, really?
That's right around the corner. Yeah. July. August at best. Yeah. I mean, at worst. So
gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I know that's one thing that Skyzoo is good at is being quick, with the pen and making quick music. Mm-hmm. So is there a follow-up, thinking about the show now, not so much the music, but the show, is there like a follow-up show that you would like to see? Is there a character on Snowfall that's still alive that you would like to see them do, a little, another show based on that character?
I think I've heard that it's happening, but I guess Leon on Wanda.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah. I'm hearing that, and I'm not no insider trading happening. I don't know, but that's what I'm hearing. So
yeah.
How about you, Isaiah?
I like I always like when you can get another character and follow them later. So I definitely think that could be a thing. I also think it's interesting. It's interesting when you do that with people that were involved in things that eventually get people killed.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard. It's very hard to do that, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Breaking Bad and how they were able to do Better Call Saul. But as a prequel works, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I like stuff like that, like the beginnings, like Batman beginnings type stuff. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool to do a beginnings of Franklin Saint and see his upbringing. Be kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah. Like, even earlier, I got you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So is there, like, thinking about on the show, is there a scene from the show or a topic from the show that you look back and think, man, I would love to hear Skyzoo cover, you know, this scene or this character or this thing?
I don't want to spoil because I don't know. Have all y'all saw the finale?
I have, yes.
All right, spoiler alert for anybody who's watching. Turn it off.
Bro, I'll close your ears if you haven't seen it.
But yeah, the scene that got me is like you said you have saw the finale?
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
It's like the locksmith, like the locksmith guy. Like when he does the locksmith. You remember the guy who was like the vault? The last episode, he was opening trying to open the vault for Franklin Saint.
Oh yes. Yeah.
I would love for him to touch on like what, like that scene was crazy because I wasn't expecting that.
I know. Man.
Yeah, you know what I'm yeah. I just knew. So I wasn't even that bad. It wasn't even that bad of a spoiler, guys. So yeah, that's cool.
No, I won't spoil it more. But my heart sunk, man. I was so
I'm like, whoa.
Like, what? Dang.
But I think that was them showing like what he had really. That's like them putting the nail in the coffin of like what he had become.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Isaiah, they set that up perfectly.
Like, they did. Yeah, they did. Yeah. They did.
Yeah. I mean, I love Franklin as a character. I loved that. I don't think so I think certain characters, you have them wrestle with their decisions and it's complicated. Yeah. But one of the things that I actually like about Franklin, and I don't always like this, but I think for him, he was who he was very early on. And what I mean by that is, as once he made the decision to start doing everything, that was it. There were no decisions. Well, maybe I shouldn't do this in this community because of this. It was, this is what I do and this is what we do. And everybody has to fall in line because of that. And you know what I mean? So it's almost kind of like he was a dark character very early on and just rolled with that, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Man, good show. I'm sad. I'm kind of happy and sad it's over.
No, I love when shows are able to fully finish.
Yeah.
You know,
I
love that.
Like,
yeah, when they're able to fully finish, like, because I hate like sometimes a show will get pulled or just be on for too long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what's kind of cool about cable shows generally get in, get out. You know, The Wire, 5 seasons. What is it, like Breaking Bad? I think 5 seasons. Better Call Saul, I think like 6. You know, get in, get out, get in, get out.
The OG power, all that.
But yeah, OG power, yes.
Do you think this album might inspire other similar type of albums? Because there's tons of characters you could, do an album like this with.
Well, I hope. Me personally, I hope so. I think that's I think anytime you create something, the icing on the cake is to have it inspire people.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And Scott did it in a very unique way, and he's pointed it out in a few interviews. He didn't. Yeah. One thing cool that he didn't do is like, he wasn't like, I'm Franklin and I'm walking down the block and I'm selling crack, blah blah blah. Like, you know what I mean? He wasn't like telling you what was happening. Like, he wasn't narrating the show. You know what I mean? And then I shot him, and then you know what I mean? And then I did this because he did that, and it was him like
His
literally the
internal
mind
monologue.
of a saint.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, just genius.
That was very unique. You know what I mean?
And I think it was Purity. I think it was the last song on there where he brings in real life people.
Yeah,
is that the one?
Insane. Yeah,
I thought that was really clever.
Yeah, with the Nipsey Hussle ending. Yeah,
oh my god.
Yeah, he's insane, man.
Yes.
Yeah, Sky's crazy,
incredible.
And he didn't even tell me what he was gonna do. He was like, "Yo, you hear the verse?"
He knew he had something with that one.
Yeah. He's like, you hear? Yeah. Man. That was definitely special. Goodness. And something else that he did was crazy. And like I said, he's mentioned this before. We've done so many interviews now. I pretty know what he would have said. Is the 80s references. Like he doesn't like the punchlines. He's making like 80s references. You know what I mean? He's not talking about like Steph Curry, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? He's talking about like Magic Johnson, and you know what I mean? Norm Nixon. Because what was dope? We both were watching. Well, all three of us was watching The Winning Team at the same time. Like we were working on our album.
Real dope show.
Love that show.
Yeah, and so a part of it, like it's a lot of Winning Team like references, because what's crazy is The Winning Team is the same time that Snowfall is happening. It's placed. You know what I mean? So it was a coincidence. So you have a lot of Winning Team and Lakers. Obviously, Franklin was in Cali, so you have a lot of Lakers references. So that's what's cool too. And me and Sky and I, we're both like big basketball heads. Crazy enough, when we did the LA show, we went to a Golden State Lakers game. So
that's funny. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Funny.
Yeah, props to Skyzoo, because I would imagine that stuff was happening when he was super young. If he wasn't even born yet, so like he had to do some research.
Had to do a lot of research. A lot of research, and I think part of the magic was we did a lot of. It wasn't a lot of like foul passing. We did a lot of things in the studio. So like the interludes and splicing those interludes together, it was like we all did it. We all did it together. You know what I mean?
That's dope. No CDs this time though, right?
No, we didn't see no CDs.
No burning CDs, CDRs.
I mean, but he did come in person, which some people, which is kind of quote unquote old school nowadays.
Yeah,
that is funny. To
work in the studio with you guys did this together in the studio.
Yes, that's great. Like, yeah,
that's
awesome.
That's old great. Heads, but yeah. So.
Cool. Before we move on to some fun questions, anything else that you want to get across to people about that album, The Mind of a Saint?
No, not unless y'all have any questions. It's so many layers, man. I'm not just saying that, especially like with Sky and his process. We've had a chance to work with a lot of amazing MCs like since we've been doing this. But his process is, everybody has their own way, but his process is insane, man. Like from the album titles, like we had album titles before we had beats. We had, and like the beats, he did everything. He did everything in order. But what's crazy about the way he did the album, that technically the storyline isn't in order.
Yeah,
you get what I mean. Yeah, but it makes sense. It's crazy. Yes. Yeah. But he pretty much made a book. He pretty much made a book on record, man. It's insane.
Yeah. It's really good. Pro iomos. Anything else on The Mind of a Saint before we move off?
How dope that is! I didn't even know that it was supposed to be connected to Snowfall.
Wow! Yeah.
I was listening strictly because I'm a fan of Skyzoo as
that's dope.
MC. Like,
yes,
I had no clue, but so now I got to go back and listen with different ears now.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah,
it'll open up a whole new portal now.
Yeah, so this is
if you look at the cover,
This
That's
is
him.
supposed to be. This is Franklin.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Franklin
Yeah.
Saint.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
the house on the backside.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, and this is actually Franklin's. Yeah, this is the house from the show.
Yeah.
And the video he actually shot at the actual one for straight drop. He actually shot the video at the actual house to film. The show was filmed at. Yeah.
Real quick before we get off this topic, did you all get to meet? Like, did this album open up relationships to any of the folks involved in the show?
For Sky, absolutely. Sky, Sky met like one of the main producers of the show, and they had a copy of the album before, like we even had the mastered mixed version. Also, Wanda Gale, she showed a lot of love to Apologies in Order. And also we posted that on Rolling Stone interviewed Damson, the lead character Franklin, and he was well aware of it. Him and Leon were both well aware of the project. Damson hadn't heard it, but he's like, yo, why is everybody keeps mentioning this to me? You know what I mean? Yeah. So they're well aware of everything. But I know it opened up a relationship for Sky with Wanda, Gail Bean, and the producer as well.
That's dope. Yeah, because
Trevor is the producer's name. Yeah.
Because as I was enjoying, and appreciating the art, it hit me like, oh my goodness, like there's a whole nother side to this that's going to benefit you guys in Skyzoo.
Yeah, shout out to
the show is so successful.
PS, I'm dope. She did this album cover. She drew it. She also drew Wale's Ambition cover.
Oh, okay.
She did Ninth Wonders cover. I can't think of the name of the album. Where he's like got a crown on. It's like a drawing. I can't think of it, but she did that as well. Yeah, she's super dope. Shout out to her.
Yeah, man, for sure. Cool. So if you don't have it, make sure you go get it. Mind of the Saint. It was number 1, I think, on iTunes for a while. It should be number 1 on everywhere for a long time. There it is. First Generation Rich. I love it.
Yeah,
it's dope. Right on. So go get that. Mind of a Saint by Skyzoo and the other guys. A really, really good project. And if you've not seen Snowfall, you can watch it first or listen to the album, get some spoilers, and then go listen. But yeah, great project. All right, wanted to ask y'all some fun questions just so that we in the room and our audience listening can get to know y'all a little bit better, know your preferences. When you think about concept albums, can you think of, does one concept album come to the top as like your favorite concept album of all time? And we'll start with you, Isaiah, if you got one.
Goodness of all time.
Or just one you really like.
I really enjoy. Okay. De La Soul is Dead to me is a concept album, and I remember listening to it as a kid. It is one of the weirdest experiences for an album that at that time, to basically be like a story and you're following the story and all these different adventures they're getting into throughout this whole album. And oddly enough, that's the Prince Paul influence. And when Prince Paul did his album, what is it, A Prince Amongst Thieves, conceptually, those were just breaking new ground for me for their day.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are mine.
Those are 2 great ones. How about you, Joe?
I got a kind of probably a slightly underrated one. Master Ace, Son of Yvonne.
Yes, such a good one. Such a good one.
I was a big fan of that. Yes. Like that was over the Doom beats. Come on, man, cheat code. And then the way it felt genuine. You know what I mean? It didn't sound like I'm gonna make an album for my mom. It just felt like, geez, man, it felt like I knew his mom. And I'm from the rock. I grew up in the Rockefeller era, so some people may not consider it a concept album, but Kanye's College Dropout. Yeah.
Okay.
The way,
so
the way that the interludes is, I kind of consider that a concept album because the whole concept was
Sure. How about a favorite MC? Do you have an MC that's just always rises to the top for you?
I'll let you go first. No, I got
okay. MCs. I'll try to limit it to 4 or 5 max. Okay. Black Thought. The Jizza. I'll give Common. I'll give I always say Razzcazz, and I have to say Eminem. Have to.
Okay.
And oddly enough, sorry, I got one more. One person who I think is amazing as a writer, but doesn't get as much. I just don't think gets as much respect as a writer and artist in a way that other artists that are respected get is Joe Budden.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of him.
I never got into him, but
for somebody that I never expected to get into.
Yeah,
I never. It's kind of one of those things. It is literally the equivalent of, somebody that was best friends with a young lady forever, and then one day they realized they were in love with that young lady. And Joe, somebody, I cannot remember it suck because I can't remember the producer's name, did a album using Portishead's third album beats, use that to make beats, and then put that under Joe Budden's lyrics. And that was when I first realized this is what this guy has been doing. Because I think sometimes too, I think people can get branded as artists, and it has nothing to do with their art. It's just like, sometimes I know he does things that are controversial and stuff like that, but just as an author, I have to tip my cap to him.
Yeah, right on. That's dope. Joe, how about you?
For me, like growing up, I caught him late. Like I said, I grew up in the Rockefeller era, so I caught him a little later than most. Biggie was the perfect MC, the voice flow, wordplay. He's like one of my all-time favorites, personally. Obviously I said I grew up in the Rockefeller era, so some people hate me. Jay-Z,
gotta be Jay.
got Jay.
To be Jay, yeah.
And Nas. And Nas, yeah. So
dope. All right.
And I was catching stuff late because I was in high school 03, 04 still, and I was listening to Illmatic on cassette. People thought I was insane because at the time, even though it was only 10 years old, then people were like, hey, listen to that old ass album. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's dope though. Hey, you come to the music whenever,
Yeah, exactly. That's the beautiful thing about this, man.
Yeah, I love it. All right.
Good music favorite doesn't expire.
No, yeah, of course. Favorite producer.
Okay.
You knew that was coming.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm sure. Okay. Definitely say the RZA. I don't want to leave his name out of my mouth. I never leave DJ Muggs' name out. He's incredible, insane. Looking at some of the stuff that he does, I would love to be in a studio with him once and just be a fly on the wall, literally. The same dude that Jump Around and did Insane in the Membrane. What? I mean, that dude's just going crazy. I love, let me think. Jeez, I know I'm gonna think I hate forgetting people. You know, but because the idea is when you're put in a position to say a name, you want to be able to say a name where somebody can go and check that work later.
Yeah,
that's the idea. I like a lot of alternative stuff and trip hop stuff from the 90s and stuff like that. And so there's a singer, Bjork. Her producer is a dude named Nelly Harper. Is like a white guy named Nelly. And what they were doing at that time was just pushing the envelope musically and sonically. And so I love that kind of stuff. That's always that stuff that I eventually always pause and go back to just to kind of get inspired all over again. Right.
Dope. That's dope. Yeah. Y'all go check that out. That's dope.
Word up.
Yeah. Joe?
So I'm gonna have to break mine. To be fair, I'm gonna have to break mine down like in categories. So like I guess me growing up and like before I actually like knew what I was doing like with production, like before I knew what things were, I was a big fan of at the time. So it's gonna be a couple of categories. So when I first started, I would say Ninth Wonder, Premier, early Kanye, Just Blaze, and the Neptunes. They inspired me because they were like from the DMV area.
Yeah.
As I got into it more, I got inspired by Jake One. Like currently, like Jake One's one of my favorite. Bink. I'm a huge, humongous Bink fan.
Yeah, he's dope.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you're familiar with he's Clams Casino. He does a lot of stuff. He did a lot of early stuff for ASAP Rocky. He has it's kind of like it's trip hop. And that's another like gem. We kind of blend some trip hop into the boom bap, like with the voices, the oohs and ahs.
Yeah. That's dope.
And so that but Ninth Wonder, because like at the time I started making beats in 05, 06. Ninth Wonder and Kanye are like the reason why. Like when I heard the listening and the minstrel show, I was like, what the hell? Yeah, he's the reason why I even like felt like I could do it. So,
yeah, that's dope. I love getting, finding that inspiration that takes you and says, I can do this. De La Soul was that for me. It's like, I can do this, so that's dope. That's dope. I do want to ask y'all, at the very ending of what you're working on and what you're getting into, but we're gonna move into this segment, kind of like celebrating albums that I'm sure have inspired you. So before we do that, iomos, Profound, anything else on your minds?
Nope, the Bang Bang Boogie. Set up, jump the boogie.
Word. Cool. Well, fellas,
I was just surprised I didn't hear, being from the DMV, I was surprised I didn't hear no Kev Brown or no.
Yo. Yes. Don't do that to me, man. You know what's crazy? Check this out. Man. When I heard
Slim Kid and what's the other cat?
All right, that's enough, man. That's enough. So no, so when as you're talking to because Isaiah's list was kind of long, his list was long. Odyssey was 100. I just seen Odyssey like 2 weeks ago. Odyssey 100%. In that middle range, like 2012 still, but 2012, 2013, man. Oh my God, that's all I was listening to was People Hear What They See. I used to harass them. This is the MySpace era. I would harass Kev Brown and Odyssey all the time. Slim Cat, I know through YU. I don't know him as well, so I'm not gonna say he inspired me. Odyssey, 100%.
Yeah.
Kev Brown, the best bass lines in the business. The dude, he makes. I played a live bass. Like, and he can make an MPC sound like he's the best bass player in the world.
Goodness gracious.
But yeah, for me, Odyssey was definitely an inspiration. he's the first producer I seen in the area in print. We saw him it was a magazine called Scratch Magazine, and he had a I'll never forget, he had a t-shirt on. It said it was a Adidas t-shirt. It said I, and it was like a heart and Adidas logo, DC. And I'm like, who the hell is this? I had never heard of him. I'm like, who the hell is this from DC? Like doing it. So yeah, 100%, man. Kev Brown, Odyssey. Like I said, that they definitely early inspirations, especially inspirations from the city. Because he's when he dropped his album, I actually reposted his album and he reposted it too. I was like, yo, the DMV captain. So yeah, pardon me.
It's hard. I'll say it's so hard to think of everybody.
Right.
Because the reason why I said that, like, where we from, Chicago, we always start with the people from our city that influenced us, like, Doug Infinite, No ID, you know what I'm saying, like Andy C, them dudes, like, who were like the architects of Kanye. If it wasn't for them, Kanye wouldn't exist. You know what I'm saying? So we always stay rooted with the, like, Doug is like our big brother, so we was always trying to be like what Doug was. You know.
So DC is a little different because like when Isaiah was when like he grew up in the 90s, and so like when he was doing, we have a big go-go scene. So in the 90s, the go-go was the thing. You were kind of weird. It was kind of lame. You were kind of lame if you did hip hop.
Yeah, hip hop got cool. Wow. Hip hop got cool later.
Yeah. And so like in DC, you either like New York hip hop, because we're in what you call the Middle East Coast. And so you either like New York hip hop or you like Southern hip hop. And so we didn't have a scene. So we didn't really have a scene. Like when I was growing up, we didn't really have a scene.
And the second the scene popped off, I moved to New York.
And he moved, So unfortunately, like Odyssey and Kev Brown, even though like I said, we loved them, we caught on to them actually later, because what happens in the DMV, you get more love other places. Like our biggest market 100%. is Chicago and LA. And like if I go here, no one knows who the hell I am. But in LA, in LA, we got a lot of love when we went there. So and unfortunately, that's how it is with like the Odyssey and the Kev Brown. They was already popping like other places before I even knew who they were.
Yeah. Wow.
That's always how it is, man. The prophet is the prophet ain't accepted in his own hometown. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's how with Dilla. Like Dilla will walk around Detroit. Nobody knew who he was, but he was known all over the world.
Yeah. That's wild. That's wild.
Dilla.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So we normally do this little last segment called One Word, but I thought we'd have some fun. And I thought you guys, since you're a production duo, I thought you all could like finalize some lingering questions that the hip hop community has, and you all can be the final authority on it. All right.
Have some final authority. That's hilarious.
It's for fun. It's for fun,
Okay.
and we're gonna celebrate these albums by having a little fun with them. All right. So if you had to pick to say this album is definitely better than that album, which one would it be? All right, which one?
Okay.
Let's just having some fun, and you can make your case. You can make your case. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And we can celebrate both of them. All right. We got Reasonable Doubt over here. All right. And then we got Illmatic by Nas over here.
That's devilish, man.
That's
What's the question? I'm gonna let you go first. Like, which album is better?
Yeah, can you even pick? Can you even say? Can you say one album better than the other? Can you make a case?
Right answer.
What'd you say, bro? Go ahead, bro.
Some of us say that there's only one right answer. There's only one right answer.
I will say.
Go ahead. I did.
My answer, which is kind of funny. Illmatic may be the only Jay-Z album. I'm sorry, Illmatic may be the only Nas album that I listen to more than a Jay-Z album. I think that's the one I think Illmatic for me is just the one in that sense. I loved Reasonable Doubt, but the replay value for me goes to Illmatic. If I can only pick one on a deserted island, I have to take Illmatic.
That'd be the one. I got you. Yeah.
But of course, I love both of them.
Yeah, they're both dope for sure. How about you, Joe?
Illmatic. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Illmatic. Yeah, that if I was on a deserted island, I would go with Illmatic. The story of Reasonable Doubt kind of it inspires me though. Like from a business aspect, from it like essentially being an independent record and the way that they flip that thing, man, it's amazing. But just from an album standpoint, you know what I mean? Yeah. As he pointed out, no famous guest appearances, all that. You know what I mean? It's a perfect album.
I don't know, man. If you're on a deserted island, though, this has more songs on it, so it's a little longer.
Yeah, no, it's definitely longer.
It might help.
It's definitely longer, and it has some of my all-time like favorite, like feeling it. Yeah. I have to play Feeling It like once a week, man.
All right. So I think that was the easier question. I think most people would go with Illmatic. There's some that would pick Reasonable Doubt for sure, but I think most would probably go. But this one's a little harder. This is the other one I want you all to solve for us. All right. This is on this side, it's the Listening by Little Brother.
Okay.
And then over here we have The Minstrel Show by Little Brother. The verdict is out. I've heard a lot of people claim both albums are their best.
My ears be different, man, because I'm a producer, but I'm gonna go with. Granted, I love the Minstrel Show, but The Listening to me, I think is a slightly better album by a hair.
I literally was gonna say The Minstrel
by a hair.
Oh, goodness gracious!
Not by much. I'm talking
not by much.
I'm talking Low End Theory, Midnight Marauders.
Yeah,
like, it ain't no wrong answers.
Yeah,
right. No, for sure.
And to answer that question, I am a Midnight Marauders guy. But
okay,
I'm a Midnight. Okay. Yo, I literally, I don't know. In my head, I was like, "Are you gonna put Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders up?" And I am a Midnight Marauders guy.
Yeah. The issue, my only slight, and granted, it's classic album is I think Midnight Marauders just kind of aged better. You know what I mean? Like Low End Theory had like some parts you can tell like this is goddamn 1990 freaking, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's like you're 100%. I think it's like that. I think Midnight Marauders has a way of existing that if it came out today, it would still work, and that's what makes it quote unquote timeless in that way.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think Low End Theory probably had more impact on music overall, but I agree with you that Marauders stood the test of time. So it's interesting they have those different.
One of the songs on Low End Theory is Sky Pager. Like, I bet like most people. What the hell is that? So like I told my son, my son barely knows what a house phone is. So
oh, that's funny.
Like what the hell is a house phone? So
yeah. All right, we solved those issues. Now I just want to do the original segment that we normally do. Our normal segment is one word. We just have 3 albums tonight. So I'm going to show you an album and just want to invite you to respond to the album in one word. All right? Okay. First one here is Brooklyn Natty by Tanya Morgan.
Classic.
Oh. Agreement, classic. I love this album. Dope album. Okay. And then we got Peddler Themes by Skyzoo.
Banging. I love awesome. That project. I love that project.
Banging. Yeah, I do too. Awesome. Yeah, I love that's one of my favorites. All right. Have to do this one since we talked about it so much. This is The Mind of a Saint by Skyzoo.
Phenomenal.
2 words, career changing.
I love it.
Yeah, no doubt. That's an incredible album. Speaking of career changing, what do y'all can y'all give us a little sneak peek on what you're working on next?
Right now, like Sky has us slaving. Like I'm thinking we're like almost done. I've already sent him some beats for the deluxe, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm still coming to DC." I'm like, "Bro, I thought we already had the beats." He's like, "Yeah, I'm still want to come to DC." So obviously that's what we're working on. Yeah, we got a new project with Von P dropping hopefully at the end of the year. Yeah. And we got some things in the works for next year. As far as the label Hypnot, we're extremely busy. We're dropping a project with Germicide from the Legendary and Megaran. You familiar with Megaran?
Oh yeah, we know Megaran. Yeah, he's been on the show.
Yeah, we're dropping a vinyl album with them that's getting pressed currently. Tanya Morgan, we're dropping a new project with them in the fall as well. We have an artist named Rob Cave. He did a project with 88 Keys. He's about to actually we're dropping a single for him tomorrow, not the 88 Keys project, but he has a project with 88 Keys that's dropping. And we just signed an artist named Moses Rockwell. He works a lot with you familiar with Moses Rockwell?
Yeah, he's dope. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's super dope.
He just signed. He's officially on the label.
He's officially on now. So
we're really excited to have him, man. He works a lot with like Homeboy Sandman. That crew. Very different, very authentic, man. Love him. What else we got going on? From top of my head, that's all I can think of.
That's more than enough. That's stuff going on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, keeping you busy. Well, I'm glad to hear about those new albums, new Von P. Can't wait for that.
Oh, yeah. Verbal Kent from Chicago.
Oh, okay.
I was actually supposed to call that guy.
Hey, you tell that brother I said what's up. He know me and Io real well, man. I know.
Oh, word, yeah, bro. Verbal man. Yeah, we did an album with Verbal Kent maybe like 2 years ago.
Dude, I think it's longer than 2 now, right?
I mean, it came out 2 years ago. But... yeah, we probably it took a while. It kept getting pushed back. Funny. But yeah, Verbal Kent. We're working on some stuff with him.
Nice.
So yeah, he's gonna be releasing some stuff on Hypnot.
Okay.
I don't want to give up the details too much, but yeah.
But it'll be dope.
Yeah, it may be a group that was on another label that may be coming over to us, and Rebel Kent is in a group, and it's another MC. Yeah. So
I think we know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Without giving it away.
We can read between the lines.
Surprise.
Yeah, he talking about Verbal Kent.
Okay, VK.
Yeah. That's the brother. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll have to get him on the show, man.
Daniel. Yeah.
That's dope. Right on, fellas. Well, listen, the last thing we always before we do the last thing, how do you all want people to reach out to you? What's your handles, all that website?
Everything's at Other Guys Music. You can pick up merch, vinyl, anything from the label, from the album merch. If it ain't sold out, most of them. I think we just got small T-shirts in the mind of the same. We appreciate the support on that.
Yeah.
Fat Beats just hit us up and just told us that they sold out of the pre-orders of the vinyl.
Oh wow.
So if you don't have it, you're probably going to wait for the deluxe. We're definitely blessed in that area. So
that's great.
At hypnotrecords.com. And on social media at Other Guys Music, everything.
Yeah.
Don't put the Other Guys at Other Guys Music. So yeah.
Pretty easy to find us in that way. Literally.
Right on. Well, it's a hip hop show, so we always give shout outs as the final thing. So we'll give some shout outs and then we'll turn it over to you guys. iomos, who you want to shout out tonight, my man?
I'm out of it, man.
Sorry, man.
So just shout out to Life, Hip said, just surviving academia.
Yeah, surviving academia.
Yeah.
Shout out to Professor Hampton, who's supervising my work, and my Boom Bap Chat brothers, Bo, Stowe, Pro, Till, Joe November. And just shout out the brothers that's on today, man. appreciate y'all, man, for taking the time to come through.
Appreciate y'all having us.
My apologies for being late, man.
Oh no,
but,
no problem.
Yeah, keep doing.
The best food I ever had was in Chicago. Rebel Kent took me around.
Yeah,
bro.
Joe, tell me about that.
Bro, oh yeah. He didn't go. I gained like 15 pounds in Chicago on the weekend. I love Chicago.
Yeah,
right on.
Shout out the crib, man. Shout out Chicago, Southside, Inglewood. You know what I'm saying, all day. So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So
Thanks, Io.
Verbal didn't bring me around there, but yeah. But shout out to them too. Yeah.
Yo, Pro, who you want to shout out tonight, man?
Man, the Profound Six, man, Amir Zakir, Ari, Rosie, Dad, Elijah, all of them should be in the bed. Mom Dukes again on the birthday. Happy birthday, Mama. The other guys, man, y'all got some incredible energy, man. First time meeting y'all, man, and I'm sure it ain't gonna be the last. And I wish y'all nothing but success, man. May Allah keep blessing y'all, man, because y'all do good work, bro. Y'all do good work, and y'all I can see like y'all got a long road ahead, man. Y'all got a lot more stuff coming up, man. And I'm excited to hear what y'all got, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Keeping the family. I want to shout out a new addition to our family. We got a dog, so shout out to Desi, DJ Desi. Shout out to my wife Larita, beautiful woman. My son Oliver and my daughter Zoe. And shout out to this guy. Shouted him out earlier. Kid Abstract, new album, Still Dreaming, is out at midnight tonight. So make sure you get that. Shout out Skyzoo. We've been talking about Skyzoo. Shout out to Skyzoo. And last but certainly not least, shout out you guys, Isaiah, Joe, the other guys. Thank you for sharing your music with us. So much dope music over the years. And like Pro said, it just feels like y'all are just getting started in some ways. And so I think just excited to see what else is coming in the future. Really love your music, and thank you for making it, putting it out, and thanks for giving up some of your time to be with us tonight. So thank you. And with that, I'll turn it over to you guys to give the final shout outs.
Go ahead.
I mean, well, I'm not gonna shout you out because you're already here. I want to just shout out to everybody listening and listening now live and that checks us out later. I just really appreciate them rocking with us 100%. Like that, it's just a great inspiring feeling. And if they're rocking with us and giving us that feeling, I hope at some point they get that same feeling,
Yeah. Joe.
Shout out to y'all for having us. Like we don't take it lightly. Like we we appreciate any and every interview, man. Like like for y'all to think of us, to have us, we appreciate it. Shout out to everybody who's listened and supported the album. Shout out to the DMV area. Shout out to the producer that's like in his living room right now with 50 followers and just trying to get beats off, who's sending out 100 emails, because that was us 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes. Shout out to that guy. Keep going.
Always keep going.
Yeah.
Always. Dope. Dope.
Wait. Golden State up 30.
Oh, no. Are you joking?
What?
No.
Dang.
They up 122 to 92 with 5 minutes left in the game.
Shoot.
Crazy. Basketball's crazy sometimes.
Man, this is such a great interview, and then you have to drop that on us. Profound.
I thought you was
so.
I thought you was
joking. Curry and his boys. Shout out, Chef.
Crazy.
That dude.
When they're cooking, they are cooking.
Yeah,
they're cooking.
Dang.
Good. We end on that note, Till.
We end on that note. I don't even want to say peace after that.
I say it for you. Peace.